There's a moment in every Robin Williams performance where the script stops mattering. It looks like chaos. It isn't. It's a system, one he built long before the camera started rolling. You can see it happen. His eyes shift. Something fires, and then he's gone, pulling voices, characters, entire worlds out of thin air, faster than any camera crew can follow. Directors didn't plan for it. Co-stars couldn't predict it. Studios had no idea what to do with it. And yet somehow, this man became one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. That's not an accident. That's a system. And once you understand how Robin Williams actually built his career, you'll never watch a comedy the same way again. If this is how you want to understand comedy, subscribe. New deep dives several times a week. The speed wasn't chaos, it was architecture. Williams grew up performing in a house where silence felt dangerous. His father was a Ford Motor executive, formal, distant, largely absent. His mother was theatrical, unpredictable, funny in sharp bursts. Robin learned early that humor was a way to get a room's attention and, more importantly, to keep it. By the time he hit Juilliard in 1973, he was already running a private performance engine that most trained actors would never develop. At Juilliard, he studied alongside Christopher Reeve under John Houseman, a teacher known for breaking actors down and rebuilding them with classical discipline. Williams didn't fit the method. He wasn't just talented. He was operating on something the faculty couldn't fully categorize, a performance system that didn't follow traditional structure, but still worked at a level they couldn't ignore. What Williams had was the ability to hold multiple comedic threads simultaneously, tracking what had already been said, what the audience was responding to, and what the next left turn needed to be, all at once. Improvisers call this triple tracking. Most people can manage 2 threads on a good night. Williams ran 4 or 5 without breaking a sweat, and he made it look effortless because he had drilled it into muscle memory before most people his age had done their first open mic. He did not stumble into stand-up. He weaponized it. Most people practice jokes. He practiced control. The San Francisco comedy scene in the mid-1970s was rough, experimental, and populated by performers who valued weirdness over polish. Williams fit perfectly. He started doing sets at the Intersection and the Holy City Zoo. Clubs where failing in front of 30 people was part of the education. He took every open mic he could find. He bombed. He recovered. He built instincts that no comedy class could teach. By 1977, he was one of the fastest rising acts in the city. Not because he told the best jokes, but because no one in the room ever knew what he was going to do next. Audiences leaned forward. That physical forward lean, that collective holding of breath, is worth more than any punchline ever written. The leap to television came fast. A chance appearance on Happy Days in 1978 as the alien Mork, a role written in a single afternoon, led directly to Mork and Mindy. The show gave Williams something rare for a sitcom performer: structural permission to improvise. The writers began leaving blank space in scripts specifically for him to fill. Producers learned to shoot extra film. Editors built episodes around what Robin gave them, not the other way around. That's when Hollywood started paying close attention. Here's what most people miss about the transition from stand-up to film stardom. It almost didn't work. Williams's first major film role, Popeye in 1980, was a critical and commercial disappointment. The physical constraint of a character role limited the exact quality that made him extraordinary. He couldn't riff. He couldn't redirect. He was locked inside Popeye's jaw and Popeye's cadence, and the movie suffered for it. If you want to understand Robin Williams' career, you have to understand what Popeye taught him. He needed roles with room inside them, characters with enough elasticity to absorb what he brought spontaneously. Straight dramatic containers were too rigid. Pure cartoon containers were too small. He needed something in between, a character with a recognizable shape and a wild, open interior. The world. According to Garp, in 1982, started finding the balance. Good Morning Vietnam in 1987 cracked the code wide open. Adrian Cronauer, the armed forces radio DJ he played in that film, was essentially a sanctioned improviser. The script gave Williams a character whose entire job was to be faster and funnier than everyone around him. Director Barry Levinson shot the broadcast booth scenes with multiple cameras, and he let Williams run. Take after take, each one completely different. The editing team logged hundreds of minutes of raw material. What made it to screen was the sharpest selection from a genuine performance marathon. The film earned Williams his first Academy Award nomination. It also established the template he would use for the next decade. Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, Good Will Hunting. Each of these roles shares a structural feature. They gave Williams a character who was allowed to be elastic, more than one thing at once. The genie in Aladdin is literally a shapeshifter. Mrs. Doubtfire is a man playing a woman playing a nanny. Sean Maguire in Good Will Hunting is a therapist whose entire function is to reach a genius by refusing to be predictable. If you have been watching this channel, you already know that great comedy careers are built on specific structural choices, not just raw talent. Williams made those choices deliberately. He pursued roles that matched his instrument. He walked away from projects that did not. He fought with studios for the right to improvise on camera. He pushed directors to shoot more takes, keep more footage, and stay open longer. That advocacy was not ego. It was a performer who understood exactly what he was and refused to let the machine sand it down. The micro-mystery underneath all of this is simpler than it looks. Extraordinary talent fails on screen all the time, not because it disappears, but because it does not translate. What works in a room does not automatically work on camera, and most performers never figure out the difference. That difference is everything. The ability to take what you do naturally and move it into a format that scales, that reaches the 20-year-old in Ohio who has never seen a comedy club, never heard of improv, never thought once about the architecture underneath a joke. Williams translated consistently across mediums, across decades, across genres. Stand up to sitcom to dramatic film to voice work to Oscar-winning performance. Each translation required a different technical adjustment. He made every single one of them. The speed was always the real gift. The architecture was always the real work. And the reason you still remember exactly how that genie first appeared on screen, the sheer velocity of it, the feeling that something genuinely alive was happening in real time, is because something was. Robin Williams did not perform spontaneity. He trained it, shaped it, and delivered it to camera with the surgical precision of a man who understood exactly what he was doing every single second of every single take. That is not chaos. It never was. That is mastery.